This video is sponsored by Descript. If you wish you could edit videos faster and easier, create clips from them instantly, and spend time on what actually matters to you as a creator while the boring tasks get sorted for you in the meantime, then you're in for a treat. Descript just released a bunch of game-changing new AI features, and it's actually insane how much it can do for you. They've kindly sponsored today's video, and I'm so grateful since I've been using Descript myself for a few years now, and I am a massive fan. For those of you who don't know what Descript is, a brief intro. It's a new generation all-in-one video editor that lets you edit videos like a doc. It's powered by AI, which means it supports you every step of the way, from creating scripts, recording videos or podcasts, transcribing them, improving audio, and of course editing, but there's so much more. Today we're going to cover their new AI assistant Underlord, some of the most useful features that come with it, and to put them to practice to show you exactly how they can help you create video content faster, better, and more effortlessly. Make sure to visit the link in the description box or scan the QR code to get started with Descript for free. I'm Natalia, and I help you create better content and grow on social media, so let's jump right in. Let's start with the biggest new update that Descript introduced, and it's their AI-powered editing assistant called Underlord. It's designed to speed up your editing and take the mundane tasks out of the equation to let your creativity flourish. Now, the best part is that it was built with content creators in mind, and actually I can vouch for that since I've been invited to the Descript sounding board as a creator back in 2022, and I can say how much the team cared about figuring out what creators really need. That's why I'm so happy that all of this knowledge continues to directly impact the app and the amazing features we get within it. Where with generic AI tools, you usually get, well, quite generic results, Underlord supports you as a creator every step of the way, from brainstorming through writing, all the way to video editing and audio improvement, all of it within one app. I've always said that the app overwhelm can be a real thing, and I prefer for my workflow to be much more concise, and Descript just got even more workflow friendly with Underlord. It's also because of this that you can get really creative, since all of the dull tasks can be sorted for you. You'd be surprised how much time it actually frees up for you to focus on new ideas. So this is what the Descript app looks like right now. These are my projects in here, but I want to just highlight one new tab that we've got in here, and this is for Learn Descript. Now, Descript updates quite often, and especially as a beginner, it can be quite tough to figure out how the different features work. So I really do appreciate that this tab now exists, and you can find so many amazing different tutorials for how to use it, how to, use projects and compositions. You can see all of it in here. Now, I'll get back to my projects, and from here at the top, I'm just going to start a new one, and it's going to be a video project. Now, as you can see, I could start writing from here straight away, or I could just record into it, which is a really great feature. Again, something that supports your workflow as a creator a lot. But I already have some files that I've recorded, so I'm just going to drag one into Descript, and you can see that it's analyzing it and then it will prompt me to transcribe. Amazing. I've got my transcription ready right now. You can see that this is where I was recording my thumbnails, so there are some gaps in the clips in here, and then I was repeating the intro a few times. You get how it works, and it's all a document. Now, what I want to focus on is this panel right here, and this is where it all sits right now. This is where our features are, and I actually prefer it that way since it's very clean. Everything's in the same spot. It's minimalistic as always, but it's even more concise. Now, Underlord is here at the top, and when you click on it, you see all the different sections for all the amazing features that it has within it. And again, it's supporting your workflow, so you can see sound good, look good, repurpose, publish, every step of the way that you might have to take as a creator. Let me show you some highlights of the features that I find super interesting, and we'll start with remove retakes. Now, if you've ever recorded a long form video of any kind, whether it's a YouTube video, a podcast, a training, anything like this, you probably know that sometimes it can take a lot of takes to get the best results possible. That's something that, well, clearly I struggle with a lot, and I mean a lot, because when I have a script, my brain very often just zaps and I trip over words, or when it's unscripted, Well, it's even worse because I literally go on long tangents all the time. And this all means that I have to repeat the takes often, and editing these parts out can be so tedious, especially that I just watch myself and just shake my head constantly. So you can see that I would have to just select everything and manually, review and remove all of it. That's why remove retakes is such a blessing. Now, all I have to do is to just click in here and then click submit. And Underlord identifies all the bad takes, leaving the very best version of this part. And it's super cool. So let's let it think. And voila, you can see that all the revisions were made, and I can just hit apply edits to script, or if I want to retain the original, I can just hit copy edits to new composition, and I'll be left with all of it just sorted for me. Now, speaking of tangents, we also have edit for clarity, which is so helpful with it too. So you can find it in here. Now, if you're doing any unscripted work or have an interview podcast, you can just, again, click in here and then submit. And then Underlord just cuts out all the unwanted stuff. So we've got the classic filler words like the us, the ums, all that stuff is gone, but also understands where you might have started meandering a little bit too much and frankly, a little bit. And again, it happens to me way too much. So all of that just gets fixed for you and takes away this very time-consuming task of going through the script and just editing it out, and it just smooths out your editing process in general. Now, it's great because you end up with your core messages being conveyed in the clearest, most compelling way, and we all know how much that means in the short attention span storm. Now, if there are any filler words left, if there are any word gaps, you can always remove them easily too by using these two features in here. So again, the whole process is just much more efficient and pleasant. Of course, at any point with these features, you can tweak everything and customize every aspect of content so that it stays genuine and yours, always on brand, despite using AI to help with efficiency. I'll show that to you in just a moment, so make sure to watch the whole video to not miss this part. Now, because of Underlord with all its amazing capabilities and of course all the fundamental features that Descript offers, it makes it one of my absolute favorite all-in-one platforms, which means I'm not spreading myself too thin over all the different pieces of software and services with multiple subscriptions. I can rely on Descript for so much, which makes it pretty cost effective. Now, the best part is that it will only get better with time, and I can't wait for what's in store for Descript. I know there were early adopters of AI, and with this whole new era of content creation, I really believe they will continue innovating and in turn help us work faster, be more creative, and therefore create more effective content. Right, but I digress, of course. Let's move on to the next thing I usually have to do at this stage, which I don't particularly like, which is my YouTube description. So I just quickly jumped into my edited video just to show you all the other capabilities as if I've already edited this video, if that makes sense. So that's just a separate projects, but I'm very happy that the YouTube description was thought of too. And I'm very grateful since it's just one less thing that I have to care about before I hit publish. So if I scroll down in the publish section, you've got your YouTube description in here, and it actually allows you to paste an example of your previous description and then craft something relevant to this video based off of the style that you've used before in here. This, of course, makes it all sound much more real. You can see that in here, I already have something pasted, and it always kind of gathers that from your previous use cases, if that makes sense. So I've got this in here. I would be able to just select it and replace it if I want a different example in that case. And I can also provide it with some custom instructions if I want something a little bit more tailored, but I'll trust Underlord in this case, and I can just hit submit. Now let it think for 2 seconds. It will analyze my current video, and voila, you can see that I've got my own YouTube description with all the different kind of timestamps in here because this is something that I've provided before, and I also have a little description in here. Now, it says Natalia in here a few times. I definitely wouldn't refer to myself in third person at all, but I can just very quickly edit it out, and I do have a very great first draft, so I can just hit done or copy it. You can just click this icon in here, and that's done. I can just plug it into YouTube and I'm sorted. Now, a fun little time saver is also the chapters feature. So if you scroll up to the sound good portion, it has add chapters in here. And I've actually used it quite a few times already, and I love it because it always gives me better results somehow than what I would initially choose for my chapters, if that makes sense. So if you click on it, you can see they can specify the number of chapters that you want to add. It defaults to automatic, and this is something that I usually use because I found that Underlord is pretty great at just identifying those key moments in my video. But if you have something specific in mind, you can always, say something like 5, for example, and submit it that way. But I'll go for auto in here. And again, one click, it analyzes your script in here, and you can see that it has all the chapters in here. It's got titles for them as well, which is really great. And of course, at this point, you can also add them to the script. So if I click, you can see that it just added all of the markers for those chapters. And then you can also add timestamps, which is super, time saving. You can see that it's done it already with the YouTube description. But I love the fact that if you don't have it somehow in your style of the YouTube description, you can always generate it like this, and it's a huge time saver because if you ever had to do it, you'll know very well how tricky it is sometimes to just go and follow the timeline like this. So it's really great that it does it automatically for us. At this point, all I'd have to do is to upload my video to YouTube and just look how much time I've already saved and how much work has been done for me. That's pretty insane. But that's not the end of my content creation process. Something that's probably my absolute favorite thing about Descript is its ability to create engaging, shareable clips from your long-form videos. It all happens so effortlessly and saves little hours, and it's one of the reasons why I've been using Descript so consistently for my content creation. Now, with more AI features packed into Underlord, we have this process made even easier and more automatic. Because the AI assistant understands creative processes and workflows, it can identify the most interesting moments from your video. What I like about it is that you still have full creative control over your clips. I've tried other apps that offer clip making features, but they were terribly limiting in terms of customization. And since branding is such an important part of my online presence, Descript has always been the best choice for me since it enables you to freely adjust the length, add on brand captions, customize the layout, add B-roll and pop-ups with elements, and enhance it all with music and sound effects. This ultimately means that the clips feel yours and are much more engaging. Plus, if you don't have your own style already established, there's a whole library of different caption styles or scene templates to choose from within Descript. So let's try to create some clips from my YouTube video. We'll scroll down to the repurpose section, and from here you can see that you can create clips, create highlight reel, find highlights, and also translate captions. But for now, I want to try the highlight reel. Now, mind you, I found that it works great for podcasts when you have more than one person speaking, and it just kind of distills the message to a highlight reel, which I really like. But let's try what it does with this one. When you click on it, you can see that it opens up this layout in here, and you have so many different options for the templates. So this is the customization part. You've got the minimal in here with the karaoke style captions. You also have this one, which is a little bit more minimalistic maybe. I mean, I really like all of their styles. When you have multicam, this is really great because it shows the reactions of other people. You can also focus on something much more simple where you center the speaker. So you have all the different options, and you can also browse the templates in here. You can see that there are so many different ones for different types of content, but I'll just stick with a minimal in here and I'll hit submit. All right, amazing, and it created this highlight reel for me. Now, mind you, one thing that I want to highlight for you is the fact that it always copies it to a new composition. So within your project, you can have different compositions. I didn't title that project, so I actually have to fix it. But if you take a look in here, you can see don't use AI until you watch this, and this is actually my main video, and this is the highlight reel that it created for me. So it retains the original while editing that highlight reel for you, which is super cool. Now, I think it did a pretty great job. You can see that it created all the different scenes for me, which are seen in here. It retained some of the markers, for example. So if I wanted to, I could just remove them from here right now just to not worry about them. And you can also see all of those scenes created within the script. So they're always indicated with a slash. And now you can see that it really I think did, again, a great job at distilling the message that I conveyed in this whole script. And at the moment, you can see that it sits at 1 minute and 9 seconds. So I could just take that highlight reel and repurpose it for Reels, for example, almost kind of showing like a promo of my whole YouTube video. And then it boosts that curiosity, hopefully, within my audience, and therefore engages them on that level that they might be more curious to watch the whole video. At the moment, I wouldn't be able to post it for YouTube Shorts. So what I could do is to literally just copy that highlight reel from here once I'm done working on it, and then just kind of remove a part of it and maybe, like 2 seconds, for example, just like this. I wasn't really paying attention to what I was removing, but you can see how easy it is to edit these things out and shorten it to be below 60 seconds because this is the limit that we can post as YouTube Shorts, for example. So you can see how easily I can just repurpose that content for different platforms as well. And I can also just edit out the parts that were added as part of this beautiful template that Descript chose for us. So you can see the show name in here. This is not something that I would normally just show within my content, but you could just change that to a show name, for example. And you have, again, that level of customization where you can just choose your font. You can make it bold, italic. You can change the size of it. You can change the color as well. There's transparency options. There are effects, animations, so many of the different options that you can deal with in terms of your layers. I'll play it a little bit just for you to see how well it did. AI can mean more efficiency, smoother workflows, and more time to spend on crucial strategic activities that really require your attention. If we learn how to use AI to do this for us, we're gaining a massive competitive advantage over others. One of the biggest challenges in content creation. Okay, it takes 56 seconds, so I'm not going to play the whole thing, but you get the gist. Everything's just so amazing. If I wanted to see my timeline here, I would be able to just amend the captions, for example. So if I wanted to change the caption colors to something a little different, let me see how I would be able to do it. So if you click on the layers in here and just hit custom, you can see that I always use my own brand colors in here. So I would be able to change it to this from here. And this is how I can just, post it if I wanted to. Of course, it just changed that particular scene, but I can apply that style to all the scenes. Everything's super customizable, and I love the fact that it just created that highlight reel for me within a second. Now, let's get back to the original, and I want to actually show you the Underlord's capacity to create auto clips. So from here, I can just, again, hit clips like this. And what it does is that it allows you to specify the number of clips. Remember where we before were specifying the number of chapters. In here, you can specify the number of clips. So I normally try to aim for something like 3 to 5 clips that I can repurpose from my long form content. And therefore, 5 is something that I always put in here. And this is the default as well. So it's great. For clip duration, and again, this speaks to the limitations of the different platforms. If I wanted to only post on YouTube Shorts, I could specify that I only want 60 seconds, and you probably don't want longer shorts in any case because they tend to get much less attention, much less engagement. You don't want to bore your audience in a way, so I try to keep them shorter, even shorter than 60 seconds, but I'll keep them at 60 for now. I've got my own layout in here. You can choose a topic as well. If you wanted to, you can specify the goal, the criteria. You can see that you've got the instructions in here, so you never scramble as to what to provide Underlord with. But again, I'll leave it as that because I trust Underlord to do it, and let's submit. And voila, we've got all of my clips ready. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we've got 5 clips, exactly what I was aiming for. And then you can see all of them are titled. We've got the description in here at the bottom, and then you've got the indicator as to how long they last. So I've got a nice variety. I've got the shortest one with 25 seconds, the longest one with 44 seconds. It's really great. And also apart from that, you've got the star in here, and this is telling you your virality score. So apart from identifying those clips for you, Underlord actually analyzes each of the clips to understand what chances of going viral they have. And you can actually see that those little descriptions provide the justification, if that makes sense, for why that would be a good clip. So for example, in here, the clip provides a thought-provoking perspective on the inevitability of AI and encourages viewers to embrace it as a tool addressing common fears and doubts along the way. So again, you know exactly why this was chosen. Really cool. Now I can just hit done, but I can just click on it in here, for example. So it took us to this clip, but as you can see, it's a new composition. So if I go to the top again to my compositions, you can see that it actually created this clips from Don't Use AI Until You Watch This Video. And then at the bottom, you've got all of my 5 different clips. So even if you choose one, they all automatically get created for you, which is super cool. And also, I think it's great because everything is nicely organized for you within Descript. And I often find myself just jumping back into the older projects, for example, when I want to repurpose clips for content when I need to put more on my calendar. And this is great because it makes the whole workflow really nice. And again, it's organized, so it's not kind of very messed up and you don't have multiple different projects for the same video, if that makes sense. So I've got all of my clips in here and you can see that it actually applied that template that I always use. I actually have my template saved. So this means that I have all of my captions already sorted for me. I have my progress bar at the very bottom. Now, if you wanted to customize it yourself, if you didn't have that template saved, you always can go to elements in here and add the text, the subtitle. You've got dynamic text, you've got waveform, progress bars in here. So everything's within the elements like this. And I could also just create little scenes for myself. For example, in here, maybe I want to add an emoji for out there, for example. So I can create a new scene in here and I can just paste my emoji like this. I literally just copied my file. I can just grab something. I have a separate monitor in here. So I can just grab it and just pop it on top of my screen. And this way I can just kind of make it a little smaller like this and customize my content further. So just center it and maybe pop it like this just in here. And let's see what happens. This technology is already out there. There's no stopping. Yeah, so you can see that it goes with automatic captions, which I'll cover in just a second, which is kind of an karaoke style. And I've got my specific branding on top of it. I can add elements and customize it even further. So this saves me so much time. I can jump into another one. You can see that in here, it did the exact same thing. So I've got all of my branding already. And with one click, I created all of those clips, which if I didn't want to customize any further, I can just export all of them and I would be able to fill my calendar. Apart from that, you can always see the preview of what happens before the clip and afterwards. If you ever want to lengthen it, you can do that too. So you can see that with the preview, you can just hit this and that will restore that part of the clip. And then maybe if I wanted to get rid of this part, I will be able to just add it on top like that. And that just extends my clip, which is super cool. Now, a big part of the reason why making clips in Descript is my favorite thing about it is the fact that I can add automatic captions to it with literally no effort at all. It's all done with one click, and because it's based on the initial transcription, it's just as accurate and perfectly synced. It's a massive time saver, plus it improves accessibility, which is super important to me, and therefore has a better chance of reaching more people who may be deaf, hard of hearing, or simply unable to watch with sound on. You can also customize it all, which makes it that much more engaging and on brand. And again, if you've ever watched me for some time, you probably know how important consistent branding is to me. So that's something that I wouldn't be able to let go of easily. And it's probably why I wasn't actually ever able to rely on any other caption apps out there. So I'm back in my original video project and I've actually selected a little bit that I want to create a clip for myself as kind of a manual way, the way I used to do things before the lovely Underlord and the AI features were available. So what I would do in here, I would just duplicate it to a new composition and I can just go ahead and open it there. I can just remove that first scene because I don't need it. And I just have this scene in here. What I would do is to just quickly go to portrait like this, and one amazing amazing feature within Underlord that we now have is to center active speaker. And this is actually amazing for creating those clips. So if I click on it, you can actually go to portrait and then submit, and that just kind of cuts and centers my speaker, and I can then use it to actually fill the whole space for my clip like this. So this is an amazing way of just quickly transforming your long-form video content into a clip manually. So this is, again, something that I used to do. Now, how to add those automatic captions if I wanted to do it in here? Of course, you can use it for any format that you want. It doesn't have to be a clip. You would be able to use it for your whole script as well, especially if you're creating, for example, like documentaries or something of that sort, or podcasts where you want to have consistent captions show throughout the video. You can't just do it from here. So if I click on the captions like this, you can see that you've got the whole library of all the amazing different templates that Descript offers for you. So you can see that this is the skewed caption. This is the modern yellow caption that goes like karaoke as well. There's this kind of monofont. You've got so many different options that you can choose from in here. I really like this one. So let's maybe try this one with a little waveform below, which again, I think would be quite cool for podcasts especially. So as you can see, designer could. So this is what happens. It automatically adds everything for you. So this is just one click and I've got it all sorted. So what I can do is to actually just change the font style. So I actually very often use like Spartan. So I could change it from here. It's actually loading the font right now because it needs to download it and add it to the project. You can make it bold again. So I very often prefer to have much bigger captions, again, for that accessibility factor. So I could do it like this just to include maybe 2 or 3 words. If I wanted double lines, I could just drag it like this to make space for another line like this. And you can just change, again, the effects, the alignment in here. All of those things are changeable, and I can actually pop it a little bit higher so that it's within the boundaries of our Instagram and TikTok limits. So you know how on Instagram and on TikTok, you have this panel right here with the likes and the comments and things like that. So I don't want them to, again, obscure the vision of these captions. So you will be able to read them clearly, and I can just maybe bring it a little bit higher. So this is how nicely customizable it all is. And a little tip from me, if you've actually changed a lot of the different things, maybe you've added the progress bar like this from your elements and you want to save all of those elements for future use, you can actually go to the scene, and at the top in here you can see choose templates. So you will be able to choose from your templates, again from the templates library, but you can save it as a template. You can see that I've got so many different ones that I've created for myself already, and you can just hit create new template and that will just save that style so that every time you can just with one click add and apply this particular style, which saves a lot of time for you. And that's how simple it is. You don't need any special skills. You don't need complicated software, just a few clicks and you have quite a few clips to fill your content calendar for a month when you mix it up with other content types. This is just the highlight of some of the AI features I use the most as a YouTube creator who repurposes content to Instagram and TikTok, but there are so many other incredible things that Underlord can do, especially with other use cases as well. You can enhance audio quality within Descript. You can remove backgrounds with green screen, generate AI voiceover with your own voice. There's a translate feature now, which I really appreciate as someone who's bilingual. You can keep repurposing by writing a blog post based on the script, write social media posts. It's literally impossible to cover all of it in just one YouTube video. So if you'd like to see any of these features in action or want me to do a deep dive on any of them, drop me a comment right now and I'll record a video like this for you. And while you're at it, let me know what you think of Underlord and which feature is your favorite. Thank you to Descript for sponsoring today's video, and make sure to check out the link in the description or scan the QR code to get started with Descript for free. And in the meantime, watch this video next to finally take this YouTube thing seriously and become a creator in 2024. Subscribe, like this video, it really helps this channel a ton. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.